Y'all, it has been a minute. It has been almost 8 months since we have gotten Mizzou college football, let alone college football in general. Y'all, we had week 0 pass us by already. It's time for Mizzou to get on and play and get onto this college football playoff road to glory settings. It's time. Let's go.
Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, honey, and her my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. High key, keep a horn on me. That come my seat. IP ownership, the blueprint is by me.
Welcome back, y'all, to the TrueSon Tribune. My name is DeAndre, and thank you so much for coming to my channel. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and all those extra things. But we gonna get right into it, y'all. It is time for Mizzou Week 1. Mizzou Road to Glory. Mizzou gonna make the playoffs for the first time in school history this year and hopefully win that national championship. And the time is now. Starts week 1. No game is a pushover. No game cannot be seen as we just gonna go through the motions and we just gonna walk in the building and get the dub. Now you gotta earn it. Even if it's a team that went 2-9 last year. Look, y'all, we all know what the deal is. Murray State is the week 1 opponent. They in the MVC conference, Missouri Valley Conference, if you don't know. They were bottom of the barrel last year. And they're going against a top tier, heavy loaded SEC team. On paper, it looks like it's just going to be a walk in the park. Mizzou is favored by 47.5 points. We'll get to the over-under, or we'll get to the spread later. This game is one that can't be slept on. I've looked high and low everywhere to go to see some scouting reports about this this Murray State football team. But I can't really find much, y'all. I looked up the depth chart, couldn't find the depth chart. I looked up some recent news, really couldn't find no recent news. I looked up a lot of things, and just nothing's really coming up for me. So, is that a thing that we should be nervous about? That we really can't find no news on them? Now, I know Mizzou got the film to watch them from last year. I mean, it's not really great film. And they might have had a big turnover. Murray State's been quality in the past. When I was there, we played Murray State, and they were actually pretty quality. I believe that's when they had Kareem Hunt, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there'll be too much trouble. You know, going from 2-9 to a conference contender dealing with the SEC team is a tall task, but this is college football. Anything can happen. And Mizzou needs to come here awoken and be ready to go. We got our star-studded wide receiver crew led by Luther Burden. We got our QB, Brady Cook, who's going to cook up some nice, filet mignon on the racetrack. We got a quality, a defense coming back that has to prove themselves since losing so many starters, but I believe them to be quality. And we got the coach to do it. Murray State's coach, he's only been in the game one season. This is his second year, and usually his second year, that's when it's time for the coach to kind of, put things together a little bit more than the first. So I expect Murray State to probably be better than they were last season, but not enough to beat Mizzou. And all we need is a dub. When it comes to Mizzou, as long as at the end of the day we win, that's what matters. If you want it betting purposes, do as you must. But this isn't a game that we should be biting our fingernails too. But the first game is always a little nerve-wracking. The first game, you got to get the jitters out. We got an experienced team here, but at the same time, it's been a minute since we played, and first games to kind of get the kinks out a little bit. This ain't gonna be a perfect game. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There's gonna be some flaws. There's gonna be some drop passes. There's gonna be maybe a muffed kickoff or punt or here or there, or something, or a defensive breakdown. Nothing's gonna be perfect, but this is the game to fine tune some things and really see who's ready to ball out and who's ready to, be there when you need them, aka the reserves. But yes. This game, there's not really much to go through other than just to kind of give you this preview of the game, really. I mean, the preview's pretty standard. We went through it. Murray State, They were the third worst team in their conference last year. They had a very tough conference with, what, 7, 8 over 500 teams, So over half their conference was over 500, so that's really good. In Division 1 AA. And yeah, the game is this Thursday in Columbia, which I'm not a big fan of the opening game being a Thursday. We never need to do this again because Mizzou is complaining that, oh, we need to sell more tickets. We need to get this game sold out. Well, the game's on a Thursday night and school just started, Joe. And kids got school on Friday, too. And the game's at 8 p.m. Now, it's college at the end of the day. The first class, most people's first classes ain't start until 8. But Thursday, no more Thursday opening night games. I don't mind the Thursday game for Thanksgiving like they do against Arkansas every single year, but nix this next year, y'all. If y'all got on Thursday, nix it. I don't know what the point is. I don't know. I don't know whose decision this was, but we don't ever need to do this again, especially if it's against Murray State. If it's going to be a Thursday, at least make it like a quality game. Cancel class on Friday, something. The game is in Columbia, Missouri, of course. It's going to be on the SEC network. And yeah, so I picked up the article on collegefootballnews.com, and we will go through this article real quick. And Missouri versus Murray State prediction game preview betting lines. I already went through the basis of it. Missouri will try to pick up where it left off after winning 6 of its last 7 games last season. There is the date against Buffalo to follow a home game. I should be at that game. A home game against Boston College and another against Vanderbilt. And the tuning up starts here. Murray State is coming off a 2-9 season, but it's a bit more experienced and should be a tad sharper. Yes, it's hard to get much worse than 2-9, y'all. It's hard to get much worse. I think that Murray State, on paper, we don't dust them out the park. But the coach has got a year under his belt. This isn't the first year coach. This is his second year. And so he's gotten able to kind of get the lumps out. We know how Mizzou fans should know all too well how a first-year head coach kind of, you're going to hit your lumps, And that's what their coach did. So that's why we cannot take them lightly. They're overall a quality program. I mean, Murray State, they don't have a horrible history by any means necessary, and Mizzou just needs to make sure we come out awake, get off to a nice little 14, 21-point lead, and just coast. Just coast. We will continue. I said all the details already. This College Football News says, why Murray State will win. The Racers need Missouri to screw up, and they need to force those mistakes. The Tigers didn't lose much last year, but they struggled when getting flagged more than 7 times and had a few issues when turning the ball over multiple times. Murray State has to get the third down conversions working early, milk the clock, take advantage of every error, all that. Yes, they got to have a bit damn near perfect game. You got to strike Missouri out. You got to make sure that you capitalize on every little thing, and it's going to be a really steep hill to climb for them. I don't expect Murray State to win. I don't expect them to win in the least bit. Maybe make it a little competitive. I do, however, I think they'll cover. I do think they'll cover because, like I said, second-year head coach, they're going to be improved from last year. Mizzou might come out and be like, oh, they went 2-9 last year. No big deal. I don't expect them to, but it could happen. Easy to overlook a team like this. And with all this firepower, it might get a case of doing too much. I've seen it, And a 48-point spread is big. Mizzou's schedule. I'll look at last year, and usually how I go off spreads is like I look at the previous year and see, did they cover by that amount any games last year? I made a bet this weekend on Hawaii versus, I think it's Hawaii versus somebody. I can't remember who they played. But they were favored by like 35 points, and Hawaii ain't beat nobody by 35 points in a long time. And I took against the spread, and I won. But Mizzou's schedule last year, let's see. We played South Dakota the first game, beat them by 25 points. We played Middle Tennessee, beat them by 4 points. We played Kansas State, beat them by 3. Memphis, beat them by 7. Vanderbilt, beat them by 17. LSU lost by 10. Kentucky won by 17. South Carolina won by 22. Georgia lost by 9. Tennessee won by 29. Florida won by 2. Arkansas won by 34. So, and Ohio State won by 11. So, no games last year. Did we beat anybody by 48 points? I'm trying to find the last time Mizzou won by 48 points. I see we beat Louisiana Tech by 38 points. That was in 2022. ACU, we only beat them by 17 points. And New Mexico State only beat them by 31 points. So we don't have a history of really beating nobody by 50 points, really. I mean, even SEMO 3 years ago did beat them by 31 points. So with that being said, I would take against. I mean, that's a lot of points. And as long as we win the game, that's all that matters. But I don't think Murray State's going to be just trash, like complete garbage. But that's my synopsis of the game, y'all. Oh, let me finish the article. Here we go. So, why Missouri will win? Murray State doesn't have the lines. It has a wee bit of a pass rush that could rise up as the season goes on, but it'll get shoved around a bit too easily early on, and it has to prove it can crank up the deep passes. Mizzou's slightly rebuilt corner situation likely won't get tested too much, and when it comes to mistakes, there's no reason to take any chances. Keep pounding with the ground game, force third and longs on the other side against a racer ground game that likely won't average 3 yards per pop and should be all okay. And Missouri will call it shot. Missouri State was awful last year in the first quarter, and it's not about to get any better. The Tiger running back rotation will be terrific. The defense won't give up a thing, and this will be nothing more than a light scrimmage. I ain't gonna say all that. It's gonna be a little more than a light scrimmage. The defense is young. It's inexperienced. A lot of them, and so we gonna have to go through a few lumps. I don't see them getting a shutout. That I highly doubt that. But I do think Mizzou easily wins this game. I give Mizzou by like 34 points. 34, 35 points. I'd say a prediction of like 52 to 20. 52 to 20. About, what is that? 52 to 20. That's about 32 points. I'll take it. So that's my prediction for the game. Appreciate y'all for joining in. This was a nice, quick, sweet one. We going to be back maybe on Wednesday if we get some more information from Murray State, if anything comes out, if any injuries come through that we don't know about. But if not, we will be live after the game on Thursday night. So make sure to tune in, and we're going to recap the game, go through everything, and it's going to be lit. So can't wait till then. Can't wait to see y'all back. And MIZ. Let's go do it.